Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be going over my final record predictions for the season. Just because I feel like people are kind of wondering who I think are going to make the playoffs, I would presume. But, I just kind of like doing this because it just kind of allows me to put in my input on teams and how I think they're going to perform. For the NFC North, I have the Vikings finishing 9-8. I have them winning out. I think they're going to sweep the Packers and Bears. Packers just aren't that amazing. Like, they're a really good team, but for some reason they really suck against the Vikings for some odd reason. And that could lead to the Vikings making a late season playoff push. Packers, I got 13-4. I think they could lose the number 1 seed possibly this year, but I don't really know for sure. Lions, I got 3-13-1. I have them picking up 1 win, 1 loss to close out the season, and I think that still puts them top 3 in draft position, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know who else would be in front of them, but maybe the Jags. So I guess they'd still be top 2, which is still amazing. I got the Bears finishing 6-11. They're 5-10 right now, so I got them getting 1 win, 1 loss, like usual with most of these teams. But the Bears are just not that good of a franchise, and they need to go in complete rebuild mode because they just really suck. The NFC East, I got the Cowboys finishing 12-5 because they are a good team, but I just think they're going to have a late season collapse in a way, and I think that's going to lead to them kinda, not getting the number 1 seed, which I would rather have them get the number 1 seed than the Packers, but either way, they're still pretty annoying franchises, either way, getting it. At the Eagles also, 9-8. So in this case, the Vikings would get the tiebreaker over them for some odd reason. I don't know why, but they would. So there is that. So Eagles would be out. Washington, I got 7-10. They just haven't performed the best. So I just don't really see them, making the playoffs. They would have to have literally probably like 60 scenarios go their way. The Giants, 5-12. I just don't think they're that good of a team. And I think they're going to go full rebuild mode after next year, because they said they're keeping Joe Judge and Danny Dimes, which I think actually could be the right call. You brought in a guy and you drafted a quarterback, and now you guys are starting to regret that. But you're going to give each of them 3 years in the game and in your little franchise. So I think that's will work out for them. Eventually, I think they could actually make the playoffs next year. So I just skipped a lot of teams. The NFC West, I got the Cardinals at 11-6. They really have fell off recently. They just can't put it together. Not really much else to say. I think they are going to be a first round exit now. They just don't really have what it takes anymore. The Rams at 12-5 because it is just what I think. They're just a good team, so I think they're just going to win the division. Seattle, 5-12, the complete opposite record as the Rams, but Seattle just seems to not be able to put that together in any sort of way. So I am really not excited about Seattle next season because I think Russ and Bobby Wagner could be gone. The 49ers, 9-8. They're kind of brinking off the edge here. I think there's going to be a lot of 9-8 teams in the NFC, or quite a bit of them. So there's going to be a lot of playoff implications and some stat people are going to be up all night trying to figure out who has made the playoffs. NFC South. I have the Bucks finishing 13-4, which is really good. There's still a good team in my mind. I don't think they really have that much competition to close out the year, so maybe they do end up going 14-3 if that is possible. I haven't looked at their record more recently because I did make the slideshow 3 days ago. Saints, I got 8-9. They just haven't been as productive, and I think instead of them trying to make a playoff push, I think they might tank for the rest of the year, get a higher draft pick, draft a quarterback, and let that quarterback develop into the system. Panthers at 5-12. Matt Rule is gone after this. You'd have consecutive 5-win seasons, I would believe. And the Panthers just cannot settle for that. They have so much talent. And with you only getting 5 wins in a season, even if you're riddled by injuries, that just is unacceptable. And I think you're gone, Matt Rule. 8-9 for the Falcons. I like the Falcons, and I think they're going to be a really good team next year because they're going to be able to put it all together. Maybe without Matt Ryan. I don't really know. It could be some other quarterback, but I just think the Falcons' offense is really good. So I'm not too keen on that fact that, their defense should take a step up in the safeties, because I do believe the safeties have not played well. So there is that. But, yeah, that's my NFC North. NFC South. For my AFC North, I got the Bengals at 10-7. They are still a really good team. I think they're going to get 1 win, 1 loss to close out the year. It's not like they have too much competition around who's going to really win the division. I think Ravens go 8-9. They just have been riddled by injuries this season, so it's going to push them to be below 500, which is pretty weird. And the Browns, I have them going 8-9 because I just think they really do not have the best coach. And the Steelers, I have them being 8-1, which would put them as the 2nd seed in the division because they have 1 less loss than these other teams. So, technically, I think in this scenario, either the Ravens or the Browns would be the last in their division. So, I'd kind of be rooting for the Ravens to get last, but, it's whatever. AFC South, I got the Titans getting 10-7. They are still a good team, but when you look at it on paper, they've been riddled by injuries. I just think they won't be able to close out the season the way some people think they will. Compared to the Colts, at 11-6, I think they could win out. As I think they are still a very good team in this league, and I think they're going to dominate and not allow too much to happen. Jags, I got them 2-15, so they would, I would believe, get the number 1 overall pick in this scenario. And I think they're going to take Kayvon Thibodeau, because Kayvon Thibodeau, in my eyes, is the most proven pass rusher in the class. Compared to Aiden Hutchinson, he isn't raw, but he really, I think, in my mind, has to be a scheme fit in your organization. I think Thibodeau, though, could play DT, could play D-end. I think he's just going to be all over the field for the Jags if they end up getting him. Texans 4-13. I think they are not going to be looking for a quarterback in this draft. So Davis Mills could be the guy going on the next season, and I think they could be big spenders in free agency, maybe bringing in a guy like Teron Armstead to be on the opposite side of Laremy Tunsil, and they could very easily have the best tackle group in the NFL, which is very good. But also, I think they could be bringing in a guy like maybe Odell, even though Odell probably wouldn't want to go there. If they offer him enough money, I don't think that he could turn down. Even if it's just a 1-year deal, that's a really good supporting cast for Davis Mills. The AFC East, the Bills are 10-7 in my mind. They beat the Patriots, so them and the Patriots, I have both of them being 10-7 because of the fact that they split. If they didn't split, I would have had the Bills winning the division. Or if the Patriots won both games, I would have had the Patriots winning the division. But I don't really know who's going to win because of all this tiebreaker stuff that have to happen. Including the Dolphins, they're also 10-7, so I think the Dolphins could actually win the division, weirdly enough. I don't know how that would work, but I would like to know how it would work. The Jets, they're 5-12. They're just a bad team. Although I do think Zach Wilson is the guy. I think just Robert Saleh is more focused on the defense, which is completely fine. When you have a rookie quarterback, you have to really train your defense up so they can play to their highest potential because you never know what you're going to get out of Zach Wilson and that atrocious offense. AFC West, I got the Chiefs 13-4. They're just a good team, if we're going to be honest. I don't doubt them coming into the year. For some reason, people thought they were just going to be a bad team after they started like 3-4 or whatever. I really didn't think that. I thought they were going to go on some sort of spree and still win their division. I think they continue that. They really need that number 1 seed. I think they really need that bye week to rest up with all their COVID issues and maybe try and get everyone back together for like the first time in a couple of months, it seems. And the Chargers at 9-8, I have them missing the playoffs. I like the Chargers, but they really just can't seem to win close games like a lot of teams in the NFL, but they're kind of notorious for it. And I just don't think the Chargers are going to be able to put it together this year or next year. So if you're really looking for a team to draft in fantasy football and have them not really improving their seeding if they were to make the playoffs, or really doing anything special in benching their starters, I would pick the Chargers for that because I don't think the Chargers are going to get that first seed in that bye. Raiders are going to be 8-9. They had a really good start to the season, and they just have had a late season collapse like this happened. So I'm not really too fond of the Raiders. Broncos at 7-10. The Broncos are just a quarterback away from this, and they really need that quarterback because they really are just not the best team. They just need to tone it down, only focus on quarterback this offseason because I think Teddy could actually lead them to the promised land. They need a better supporting cast around Teddy maybe, but at the same time, if you get a guy like I'm trying to think of some quarterbacks in this year's draft, Carson Strong, Kenny Pickett, those are guys that got big arms and can throw the ball downfield. Unlike Teddy, I mean, he's not the most accurate deep ball thrower, and Kenny Pickett can run. I don't know about Carson Strong. I haven't watched too much tape on him, but I think the Broncos just need to tank out and get a higher draft position to get that quarterback of the future. And that is the list. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Don't forget to leave a like and maybe subscribe if you made it this far. That would mean a lot to me if I'm going to be honest. So see ya.